Welcome back to the weekly live. This is still an official live show, and today's day is July 23rd, 2024. And this is the second live that we have since the emergency live, which is the Donald Trump shooting. And since then, it has been a week and a half, and a lot of things has happened. And let's just do some housekeeping. So if you haven't seen the last live, I'm gonna put a link in the show note so you guys can check it out and watch it. And today's live is we're gonna continue what's going on, what we talked about last time with Thomas, and Thomas is gonna join us shortly after this personal story that I want to share with you all. And so stay tuned. And if you haven't subscribed to the channel, please subscribe, like, share, and remember to hit that notification button because you will not want to miss any of the live shows or our podcasts or the podcast show as well. So, so here's the personal story. I will never imagine that this happened to myself. I was pretty much expressing a lot these days with the politic view, my point of view, my opinions, my reactions, my feedback, whatever you want to call it. Um, after I post the shooting image, that um, the epic photo that I took by the Washington, I believe it's the Washington Daily News photographer. And one of my friend, she is a longtime friend. I know her probably 12, 13 years. And we kind of close, but not too close. But however, she commented, she does not like Trump. Okay. She thinks Trump is very disrespect woman. And I understand everybody has different point of view and everybody has their perspective. So I just reply Trump 2024, and that just triggered her. I really don't. I didn't really expect that, to be honest with you, because she's a very good friend of mine, and then she's very, I know she has her beliefs, and I know she has her, um, you know, thinking, philosophy, and all that. I respect that as well. No hard feelings or anything towards me from me. However, she really got upset that I support Trump, and she started, you know, as many other people who experiences. I feel that she started personally attacking me. She will say, "Wake the fuck up." She will say, "Why you want to support somebody like this?" She wished me good luck. And she said, "I need a lot of luck." So I don't know I was shocked because I can never imagine this will happen to me. And I will never imagine this is coming from this friend because we know each other for a long time. Of course, we have difference. We always just talk it out or express ourselves, our feelings. And she's also into spiritual. So I share a lot of those learnings, guiding these days with her. So I thought, she won't be so extreme, put it that way. But I do understand, yeah, because maybe one of her most best friend, he is a hardcore left supporter. He hates Trump so much, so maybe that's an influence. But anyhow, it's still back to what I always share on this channel. Everyone has different perspective, and everyone's perspective is based on our past experience, our past trauma, our past skill set, our past relationship. So can understand certain people's reaction, and I can see where that came from. Um, I don't know her whole story, whole background from the past, but I do know that she's a very feminist person. She support women. She want a woman to be somewhere. She want to rise up womanhood, and I totally get it. I understand, but again, that's coming from her past experience, possibly her trauma as well. And I can feel her. Okay. But that doesn't mean if I support Trump or Trump, this individual person needs to experience near death experience, like the shooting we have, or experience violence. Nobody deserved this. Okay. And especially this might be just your own point of view, own perspective, own reality, like I mentioned, if we're going to talk about spiritual, right? So it's a loss. Yes, I'm a little disappointment, but I'm not angry. I'm not sad because I don't want this to be, affect me. I don't want to react to the 3D reality because I do understand where she's coming from, and I do understand we all live in a parallel universe. Our mind, our brain is our own universe. So each individual person is walking on this 3D platform we call Earth. Life is our parallel universe. Okay. All right. Enough that. This is another topic that I can share maybe later on the podcast, or maybe some other week of live videos. So stay tuned. I'm going to have my friend Thomas come back to tell us what's going on since Donald Trump's shooting in Pennsylvania. So stay tuned. Don't go anywhere. And remember to subscribe, like, and hit that notification button.
This is the Transparency Podcast Show.
Welcome back to our weekly live, and it's still unofficial. So I have my friend Thomas here again, and we are continuing our conversation from the last live. If you haven't seen it, I'll put the link in the show notes. And before we start anything, please subscribe, like, and hit that notification button so you won't miss anything. That's, especially these days, information are so fast. Like the last live was right on the Donald Trump shooting in Pennsylvania, and it's a week and a half just gone by. But since week and a half gone by, so much things already happened. Seems like we already gone by for months. And we are in the age that information moves so fast. I feel, like sometimes I prepare some video to post, and the information moves so fast. If I don't post now, then tomorrow is not relevant anymore, So, and then I feel bad for the journalism too. Journalist people, reporters, they have to keep updating themselves up to speed. You know what I mean? So right now we're just gonna move our own pace timeline from where we left off to up to today, July 24. 24, right? 23rd, sorry. July 23rd. Yeah. July 23rd, 2024. Okay, so last time when we talked about the shooting, we mentioned about secret services, right? And you mentioned about they should have, supposedly to have experience from other presidents shooting. The last one was about 40 years ago, 30 years ago, with Ronald Reagan. And so now
closer to 30.
Yeah. And then after, because again, this is, everyone has cell phones these days, information are so fast, social media. So someone captured a lot of different videos. We also, if you haven't seen, there's a lady sitting behind Donald Trump with the sunglasses, and she's acting weird. Somebody caught that. And turned out she's I believe it's FBI
assistant
Assi-
director of the FBI. I believe it was assistant director of the
yeah,
FBI.
yes. And that's odd. Why would a FBI director sitting there and just like this? You
Yeah,
know,
that's beyond odd because I even had to deal with this when I was in the military
okay,
to a certain extent. But I ain't gonna lie, I was junior non-com low. I wasn't involved in a lot of things or where situations where I had to really be cognizant,
right,
except for when I traveled personally internationally
yes,
because of my security clearance. Now, when I got out of the military and
mhm,
I transitioned to become a government contractor, it did become it became more of an issue for me to deal with and be cognizant of because I had a higher security clearance at
mhm,
that time. And
right,
what I'm talking about is once you get to certain levels and access points within the government and involves security clearance or just your job,
mhm,
a lot of conflict of interest issues come to point. And up to a certain point, at a certain point, you can't even really like technically she could go watch him give a speech as a civilian, but on the same hand, technically she can't because she can't just stand in the crowd. She's assistant director of the FBI. You know what I'm saying?
yeah, and she's not playing the role like undercut cover
Yeah,
or
yeah.
no, doesn't seem like
Yeah,
it.
the assistant director of the FBI, she doesn't do undercover
Yeah, I know,
roles. Yeah,
but
that's a
she
public
doesn't
facing.
yeah, doesn't seem that way either, you know.
Yeah, no. I mean,
If
that's
anything,
a,
she should be, helping those
and the
yeah,
last thing she should have been doing was sitting in the stands behind the political incumbent because that location is association of political support, and she's not allowed to do that.
yeah,
As assistant
and
director of the FBI, she's not allowed to do that.
somehow
Now,
she was
somebody
looking to
may
the
come and
side.
argue. Somebody's gonna come up and give an argument like, "Oh, well, she can." Like, no, trust me. The one thing the government does not play with
Mhm.
is that for regular employees. And assistant director of FBI, she's still a regular employee.
Okay, yeah. So there's a lot of words out there saying that she might be giving a sign or a go a green light for the shooter.
Oh yeah,
You saw that?
I saw
Yeah.
those comments, and I'm like, I'm not even gonna entertain that.
Yeah, so I don't
I'm
know.
not gonna
I
entertain
did
that.
you I'm not I didn't hear anything, any follow-up on this person. Did you see anything? Because I know there's a lot of things going
No, I haven't seen anything as of yet. But I put it like this: in today's age, since we can all see events happen in real time
on. Right,
or near real time,
right.
what a lot of people don't understand because we're used to we're
Mhm.
used to events flowing like they do in stories, magazines,
Right,
novels, documentaries, which are scripted most of the time,
yeah.
and most importantly, the movies and television.
Mhm.
And people forget that in those instances, the story has to follow a chain to
Yeah.
keep the people hooked and understand what's going on. Because nobody's going to watch a movie; they don't know what the hell's going on. You're going to be sitting there like, I spent how much money on this, and I don't even. We're like 10 minutes into the movie. I don't know what's going on. I don't
So
know what happened, why, when, where.
yeah,
That's how real life is.
right now is like how do you call this? Bombarded with one scene, a second scene, third, fourth, just throw it at you and see which one you can catch and distract you.
Yeah,
That's
and
how I feel.
unfortunately, it doing that. Since we aren't the principal investigators, the only thing that does is confuse the issue even more for us
Yeah.
because we're not privy to the timeline of information as they discover what, when, why, where, who, how, of everything. Because the investigators are going to search and search and search until they build that timeline that looks like a movie. So we know what happened
Mhm.
here, what happened here, when did this,
Yeah.
when did that happen, where did they go, where did they go next, you know,
Yes.
and that's what people used to seeing in the movie, but in real life, when it happens, man, you could have been standing right there, front row, and I guarantee you today you would be even more confused than you were when you were
Yes.
standing there
I
and you were
want
like,
to.
I heard the shots.
Yeah, I wanna jump in on right here. You're perfectly right there. So another um, frame capture another secret service agent who was confused. Right, remember that one? And she was not don't know what's going on, and I think the mic from the podium picked up saying, what should we do, what should we do, what should we do? And a video capture her having problem put her, I believe it's a gun back to her holster. You
Hmm.
seen that one? It seems like I mean, I'm not trying to be a discrimination towards a female or a male, but the just the fact that female agent having problem with the holster, that's kind of unbelievable, because you know they are
No,
protecting
well,
the most the world most
yeah,
important person.
yeah, but
Usually, presidents, or in this case, it was former presidents. Yeah.
oh yeah, yeah, yeah. Yes, very true. But at the same time, let's put a little more human spin on this for what we need to understand about these people that do these jobs. They train every day, if not every week. They're definitely at least every week, constantly to be able to respond just for that one moment, like we saw what happened with former President Trump. They train constantly to respond to that. And you can say you're going to be this, you're going to be that, but I can introduce you to thousands and thousands of Marines and
Mhm.
Army soldiers and Navy personnel and Air Force personnel and Coast Guard personnel that'll tell you the same thing. You can train all you want. It is the training is just so that you can still move and function when the we used to call it when I was in we used to call it when the running and screaming starts.
Mhm.
You train so that you can still move and function when the running and screaming starts, because it's going to be just a huge question mark everywhere you look. What? Because you don't know what's going on, you don't know where it's coming from, and you're just trying to get as much information in as possible quickly as possible to make a
Mhm.
decision. So it's easy for me. For me, it's easy to see that because I've been through some training with the Navy. I'm
Yeah.
not an operator, but I've been through some security training with the Navy where they taught us how to understand some of these issues and some of these things. And you learn that some of those situations you're going to be in are really, really messed up.
Do you
And
think?
you're there to do the best you can.
Yeah. Do you think? I mean, I know you're training probably not recently, right? I mean, I'm trying to say is, I think not just the people in the service or military. I think overall in
Yeah,
America,
yeah. Overall,
In America, people um, got suffer. You know, do you know what I
oh,
mean when I say that? Because
ooh,
because
ah,
because we, there's a saying, uh, bad times create stronger men, or a woman, and
mhm.
when the time is
Hard
good,
times
yeah,
create hard people.
right,
Hard
right.
people create soft
Yeah,
times.
we actually, and then good time creates weak people. So
Yeah,
I think there's a
and then weak people turn it right back around and create hard times.
well, that's a cycle. So I think we're in the cycle of people are getting too relaxed. Doesn't matter who, agents, service, FBI, or just regular citizens.
Yeah, yeah.
We are just getting too comfortable. That's why.
And that's
And
one of the things that they always have to, groups like that, the police departments, any kind of law enforcement, any kind of military, any kind of special service. That's one of the main reasons in the U.S. we have such doctrines where they're supposed to constantly train because training changes with the times and the most important threats you're going to be facing. We try not to forget the old threats that we believe can still come back, and
yeah, yeah,
it's it's difficult to be balanced. But you're right. It's at the same time, those guys are those Secret Service, they have it really difficult because you're protecting a public persona that represents the whole country. So this is a person that has to be seen as much as possible. You can't just camp out at the White House for 4 years, not go no. You know what I'm saying? Can't camp out at the White House, not go
are
nowhere,
you
not do any interviews except for a
are
closed room.
you talking about somebody else?
Some
Are
have
you talking
tried,
about are you talking about the one in the bunker? Just kidding.
some have tried, and it doesn't work because the people want to see their leader. So they have to deal with supporting the leader out in
Mm.
public. But I mean, just go outside down the block at your house and try and figure out, just stand on the corner and look around in a 360-degree area and try to figure out what would be the top 10 danger points we'd have to worry about from a shooter. How would we have to control traffic and set stands? It's a it's a big, big deal, and there's a lot
Yeah.
more involved in it than people
So
think until they get involved with it.
yeah, I think just close out this topic so we can move forward. The
Yes,
last thing
yes.
I want to mention is,
Catch
again,
up.
good. I want to say is, good time creates weak people, which is also creates weak companies, weak business, weak organizations. So the last thing I heard today is the Secret Service director is resigned. And that's the result of because everything goes
Uh,
down at that rally, and
mm,
it's yeah.
yeah, well, not just there, but it's been several. There's reports that there have been several instances over the last 12 months involved, with surrounding Secret Service.
Mhm.
So it wasn't just this issue, it's a
I believe
series of things that politically are just, you can mess up at your job a little bit, get, a verbal warning, but you can mess up at your job a little bit at the most inopportune time and get outright fired on the spot. You know,
okay, so let's move along to the timeline. So next one coming up, I believe, is the California pass a law that allows teacher and school government to involve with gender identity
oh,
transition, and that the parents gonna be the one who's gonna be blindsided or the last to know. I think that to me, I really think that's wrong. So for there are many different levels, and personally, I first of all I feel transitioning, gender transitioning, or even coming out sexuality orientation. This is all personal. The government, the teacher, the school should not get involved. If anything, the government should be last, right? Right.
um,
So I think this is a distraction. Okay, this is a distraction coming from Gavin Newsom, and
oh,
I believe he wants attention, and they already know what kind of card they're playing. This is right before Biden resign, right? So this is like, I'm knocking on the door. Make sure you guys know what hear me. You know what I mean? So I feel it's a distraction, and I feel it's LGBTQ community got used as a political weapon for this one, and that triggered a lot of reaction, including Elon Musk, because Elon Musk uh, now daughter is a trans person, and he mentioned he said the his son is dead to me. That's why he said today actually on Twitter X, and actually that's somehow true because for any transgender person, they know if they really fully transition, whoever they are previously, it's pretty much
Mm-hmm.
done. Done. I won't say dead. I'll say done. We move on, right? Move forward. So, anyways, I want to hear your thoughts on this government control or government overreach. I call it
My thoughts on the government overreach. My
on
thoughts
this.
on this thing with Gavin Newsom is let me focus on this right quick. My thoughts on this is a giant step totally in the wrong direction. I get that the DNC loves to see themselves, especially nowadays, they love to see themselves as the ally to the little
Mm,
guy.
yeah,
But when it
I.
comes down to brass tacks and doing something,
Mm,
they
right.
do too much.
Yeah.
There's a saying, "You're doing too much." They're doing way too much because now what a lot of people don't understand is they did not this what California's done has not taken a single positive step forward to help the LGBTQ community at all. In fact, if anything, it's muddied the waters more and
Worse.
it's going to generate so many more problems like a wildfire over the next 5 to 10 years because now you've made parents the villain. You've made the
Mm,
parents the villain. They can't say
yeah.
nothing to their children about gender. So if your kid goes to school, we already know children are easily influenced
Mm,
by everything they see on TV, the internet, at school, with their friends, in magazines, on the radio, in songs, in movies. They're already it's already started. I mean, it started back when California started having psychologists,
right.
promote this with patients who were confused,
Mm,
and instead of following the prescribed model to
mm,
determine, to help this person determine if they are gender dysphoric or not,
right.
we've just jumped in the boat of, oh, there's a bigger boat over there, and it says, just believe everybody. Or
Yeah.
tell them, or just pat them on the back and tell them it's all good.
Because
And now you got parents going
yeah.
out of their way to convince their children
Mhm.
that they're gender dysphoric. And I mean, how many documentaries does PBS have to do
Mhm.
for you to see people in their 20s and 30s just crying because they went down this path believing they were gender dysphoric, come to find out later because it's all mental and
Mindset.
emotional. It takes time to work through these things,
Right.
to figure out the truth, especially when you don't know and don't have experience to judge things against. It
Right.
takes time it takes time to get there.
Yeah.
You get further down the line. Now all of a sudden, the young lady Janet is like, shit, I really was James.
Well,
And James is like, well, shit, I really was Janet. Now they've
or
done.
or should I say should I say, well, maybe Michelle is Michael, Michael is Michelle.
Yeah. Well, somebody else said something like that to me a couple of days ago, and I was like, I don't get it because it sounded like they were trying to tell me a joke. But I didn't get. But either way it goes, is this. even with the I'm not I'm not a doctor. Okay, let me preface that first. I'm not a doctor. I don't study psychology. I have a few friends that are gay, and I've met and talked with many lesbians, and we had a few that were friends that were lesbian and trans, and I don't really know about I don't really know about the other references because I don't really ask.
Mm,
Because at the same
okay.
time, I'm like, yeah, you cool with me, I'm cool with you. I don't care.
Yeah, yeah,
You know, you're
yeah,
not paying my bills, so really,
yeah.
you know,
True.
I
Yes,
don't really
yes,
care.
exactly.
But I've met people that not met people. I've talked to other people that talk about so and so who thought he was gay, but he's really not.
Mm-hmm.
Or they thought they were lesbian, but they really weren't. Or they thought they were straight, but they weren't, and they weren't
Mm-hmm.
sure. I mean, this is not a cut and dry black and white issue. It's not a switch. You know, if anything, it's more one of those real stats where you got to turn in the knob or something. But it's not a cut and dry issue, and it affects people in so many different ways. And this law is gonna, in my opinion, this law is gonna really, really, really damage a lot of families.
Right.
I
Very
want to
true.
say unintentionally, but part of me, to be honest, a part of me actually believes that they knew exactly what they were doing when
Yeah.
they pushed this law through, and they knew
Yes.
exactly what it was going to do to the population.
Yeah. And to me, just to close out this topic is California has a lot more issues than this. To be honest with you, like, I
We've
mean,
got, oh,
this is not even an issue to begin with.
I
And
know
they,
this is,
yeah,
you ain't ever like, this is such
and
a non issue. I'm like,
yeah,
why are we
making this
focused
law.
on this? This is such a non issue.
Yeah, and we have like what homeless issue. That's the major one.
The
Economy.
homeless issue is so
Yeah,
bad, you can't, it's very difficult now to go anywhere in California and not see a tent popped up on a corner.
I see a lot in
I
the
see it here
morning.
in Pasadena.
Yeah, everywhere. In the morning, I wake up early in the morning. I see people on the sidewalk. They wake up to they like clean
And you want to know
themselves
what's
up
messed
and
up?
dress. And, oh my god.
You want to know what's messed up? The city still pushes those people around. They
Uh,
eventually somebody from the city comes by and pushes them out of there. They got to go somewhere else because no, we got to do
they have
maintenance.
nowhere
We
to
got to
go.
clean. We got to do this. We got to do that. The only difference is now business owners can't be like, "Hey, get the fuck out from in front of my business."
Yeah, a lot of business already closed, and we have very high crime. That's the issue. This is the issue, not gender identity. It was never an issue.
The
Eh,
whole crime issue is
yeah,
that really pisses me off. With all the people that got behind that, that really pisses me off.
and then
'Cause they made some decisions that I was like, "Whoa." There's a
yeah,
million ways you could have addressed that that would have cost
yes.
less.
And on top of that, if you talk about costing less, our California gas price is the highest in the nation.
It's about
How
to
about that?
yeah,
See, and then they want to
it's
raise,
about to take another hit.
and then they raise the people who. I mean, I'm not putting anybody down, okay? But they raise the minimum wage for the fast food at the same time they raise everybody's hamburger price.
Hmm.
That's just reality. And
Yeah,
this
and here's the
this
thing
is
though.
this is an issue.
Here's the trade off
Okay.
with that. The only fast food joints they hurt were the small chains and the mom and pops ones. Those are the ones they really hurt because
Right. True, true.
they
Yes.
live month to month.
Yes.
The
Yes.
big chains, which is ones they were trying to affect, like McDonald's and Burger, they ain't hurting
Mhm.
them because vast
Very
majority of them
yes,
are
yes.
franchises. At the end of
Very
the
true.
day, that franchise is still going to send all the money it's supposed to back to
True.
headquarters. All they did was make it less money that the franchisee owner gets to take home in their pocket.
Yeah. Actually, I believe in the entire America, small business owners percentage is higher than the corporation or
Mm-hmm.
franchising.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and yes,
That's why they did that, because
they want to kill the small
no,
business owners.
no, they put the bill for paying that stuff out on the small business owners,
Yeah,
because they're
that's what
going
I
to
mean.
figure out, the small business owners will figure out how to navigate that, how to bring stuff up to speed. And the big
They can,
franchises, all they got to do is follow the train. All the successful small businesses that make it work, the big companies will be like, okay, now how are they making that work? All right, 10 years we'll follow that train, be business as usual. They ain't got
yeah.
to worry about it.
See, I just
You
don't
know?
get. I don't just don't understand what's wrong with Gavin Newsom. I think he has control issue because remember back in just not too long ago, right before COVID, he put out a mandate for we cannot use plastic straw anymore. Remember that? We're using paper straw. And then
Gavin Newsom
funny
is
thing is, if
yeah, but
now
you got to
listen to me.
remember, Gavin Newsom is
Listen to
pandering.
me first. I know,
Oh,
but if you go to Starbucks or a boba place, the cup they use, which is gigantic, it's
mm-hmm,
plastic.
mm-hmm.
You see? So I don't know what's. That's why I
That,
say
that
he
cup is
has some sort of
plastic.
he have some sort of. I don't know what's wrong in his mind. To be honest with you, he has no sense of what's important and what's not.
In my
Or
opinion,
you
he's trying to
see,
push. In my opinion, what he's trying to do is, and his followers aren't trying to do this, but he's trying to do it because he knows that if he pushes it, California is, you can't deny it, for the next 20 years, California is still going to be the one, is still going to be in the top 5 GDP
I think
of
it's
countries.
falling. I know. I think it's falling. To be honest with you, I look
No, we're
around.
falling a little bit, but we're
Yeah,
still, it's
but
still, it's still so many
yeah,
people and so many
but
businesses. I mean,
but if you
still in the top
yes,
5.
every yeah, but if you look at let's say 5 years from now, I really think it's maybe it doesn't take 5 years. I'll give it two years the most if they didn't fix it because
Now, I think it'll take long, because here's the thing is,
because everybody is leaving. You know,
yeah, a lot of people are leaving, but it's like with everything. When you say everybody's leaving, the ones who really leave in the first 10 years are the ones who could afford to leave to begin with. All the ones who couldn't afford to leave, they got to hang around and figure out how to make this work. There's a lot of those people, and this is how you get innovation. You put the people in a position where they have to come up with a better plan. You have to have a reason to
Ye-
have a better plan that's more than just because we
true,
want it.
but this is how do I put it this way?
Get some water.
Yeah, I think a lot of people are just it's not about like try to resolve it, just sickening, you know what I mean? like like it's kind of like one after another one. Now they even landlords, whoever rent out the house, they put a cap on it. I understand, renter needs some breathe room as well, but I
Hmm.
really feel this is all again down to government overreach. This is, let's say you're a landlord, I'm a renter. It's a negotiation between you and I. What have to do with the government? You know what I mean? That's why
Yeah, because
yeah.
a lot of people say, "Oh, they did it to protect the people." No, they did that to protect you, the landlord. Because if I put a cap on it, now you're not getting greedy and just running away with the market. Because
Well,
now you're going to always be able to find somebody who can afford at least that much. If I
well,
don't
here,
put a cap on it and you follow the market, what's going to happen when the
well,
market collapses on you?
here's the thing. Let's say, I mean, just give an example. A lot of places, I believe, is 3 to 5% cap rental
Hmm.
control, but our inflation is, you know, that's what I mean. That's what I meant.
Did I do it?
So what I'm trying to say is landlord has expense just like every other
Oh
business.
yeah, no.
So that's
You're
why,
absolutely correct. The
yeah.
landlord
So
does have expenses like
so
everybody
the expense will have to, just like the hamburger fast food chain, the expense have to
has to go
pass it
somewhere.
down to the consumer. Yes, that's the
But it's a give
economy.
and take. You
Yeah.
can
So
pass it down to the consumer till this consumer no longer is interested
yeah,
in consuming. And at that point, you gotta you're gonna either have to bail or you're gonna roll it back.
they will have a choice to
And
leave.
hopefully you can
Yeah,
survive until the markets balance out again. And
yeah. So
that's one of the
I,
main reasons why I'm trying to get stuff going right now because I literally see so much opportunity over the next 10 years. Like, it is going to be ridiculous, in my personal opinion.
okay, cool. So next we're gonna, where's you have a timeline? Where shall we go now? I
Oh, we
almost to
talked
jump to the
about
buy. Huh? Go ahead.
we took a good tangent, but I like that tangent. That was really good because it means we're not just solely focused on one thing. Is we've come up to
I think that timeline we can go ahead
and
and start talking about Biden's
yeah,
stepping out.
that's where we are right now as far as like the major things people are interested in discussing. Unless you want to talk about
Yeah,
pictures
we
of
can
cats
we
playing
can
guitars or
yeah,
something.
we can kind of go share this part, and then Kamala Harris,
Hmm.
and yeah, and then we can
All right, so
close out. We can wrap out, and then the next week we'll see what's going on after
yeah, so
So
July
Biden,
21st.
Biden, I don't know. I see this coming. Actually, I saw this coming 2-3 years ago when he first got elected. I was commenting one of my friends' post. I said, "You wait and see. When they finish using him, they'll kick him out to the curb." And
Hmm.
that's what they're doing. That's what they
Hmm.
did just now.
He
And
was
so,
Biden got lucky, man. He was a real safe bet supporting Obama. He was a controllable bet supporting Obama. So,
mhm.
he's not JD Vance. Let's put it like that. Okay. When he was VP for Obama, and he showed himself nationally to be really level-headed and not a fire spark, not prone to just blowing up or doing something crazy. And then that led to a lot of people being comfortable with him when he ran for the presidency, and he banked off of it. Good kudos to you, my man. You made it at the last bit of the race. Kudos to you. He entered the club. He entered the presidency club. Not going to take that from him. That's why I don't take it from Donald Trump either. He won the votes of millions of people. You know how hard that is? I got a freaking YouTube channel that I get I'm happy if I get 10 views on a video. You know what I'm saying? He got
Okay.
millions of people to get up off their butt, go to another location out of their house,
So
write something down in his favor. You
you
know?
don't so you don't think it has I mean, I don't I mean, back in 2020 there's a lot of talk about the vote counts. It's not accurate. Anyways,
That's what
that my opinion. Okay, my opinion is, uh, I somehow there's something happened. Okay, I that's my personal belief,
oh
personal
yeah, yeah.
opinion, and
I'm not
and
gonna
and
say there
co-
was
and
no
and COVID did play a lot of into that mix. Okay, so
oh yeah, yeah. I'm
that
not gonna say there wasn't no tomfoolery going on, but there is a saying that's if you ain't cheating, you ain't trying to win, and you only cheating when you get caught.
Yeah, so well, this time around, so he dropped out, and then now we have
Yeah. The
Miss
only thing I didn't
Kamala.
like was they brought in a lot of foreign influence at that time, and that's going to be a contentious thing. That's gonna, like, I know a lot of people in our government are all about this global economy thing, but I'm telling you that foreign influence and monetary support is going to wind up turn around. Is no matter who it is be involved, it's going to turn around and become a really contentious powder keg. I don't see it happening this election, but it'll probably happen the next 2028, 2032. One of those elections, it's going to be a real powder keg. It's going to be like,
What
no, we're not playing with that anymore because
what if we don't have any more election?
it all involves the,
I
well,
mean,
you
I
know.
mean, I mean, I'm not trying to scare anyone or put any fear on anybody, but I do kind of, I don't know. Okay. It's a turning point, right now.
Yeah, no, I
So,
don't
so
see it
I,
being
I,
like
I,
a issue
I'm
that's.
not sure where this is gonna go, and
No.
I do for sure is a lot of things gonna change, good or bad. We don't know. We
Mhm.
have to see,
Oh yeah,
and
the next 20 years is going to be
and
real exciting,
and remember, I
really
don't know.
exciting.
And then I said this. I mean, I'm not sure if I said this on the live, but I did say one time somewhere, some podcast episode.
Mhm.
I believe we are in the vulnerable period for the United States, and now Biden drop off. It's even more vulnerable for outsider. That's what I'm trying to say.
Oh
So
yeah,
yeah,
well,
that's why I say
um,
this is a turning point, and
that
this
was
is
the
a
creation of the
and,
super PACs that
and right now,
led to that.
that I feel the gap is bigger, in a sense,
Hmm.
and until we have a grip, a firm of what's going to happen, the gap will get bigger, and it's if someone or some country wants to do something, it's really scary right now. You know,
Ooh, yeah,
that's just
militarily wise, technology has come to a point where it's
yeah,
allowing the little guy to home grow capabilities that before were just regulated for the big superpowers. You know, you're
yeah.
not a superpower threat, but you're definitely at the point where you can become a real threat nowadays because technology's come so far where the knowledge and the equipment is trickled down to a point where it's like, ooh. And everybody likes to talk about how much money America makes and spends, and
That
but they forget exactly how much money. There's a lot of other countries out there that are not brokies. You may call them a third world country or a second world country, but you know, that country still generates a lot of money in that country that's not leaving that country like it does here. You know,
well, over here is how do I put it? Over
everything's
here, the economy, I believe, since 2008,
hmm
we've been printing a lot to save the bank, save the giants. So we're printing, the money to sustain this level. Do you know what I mean? And what you said is very true. Is that other country might not be printing as much, but the more we print, the more trouble we get, and the more dollar devaluate, and then the more debt we're gonna have, and
yeah, yeah, yeah.
and that's just gonna weigh us down more and more and more. So
Well, you're not lying
yeah,
there. I mean, look at Brinks. That's exactly the us doing that is the whole reason Brinks has come into existence. You know, we took the dollar off the gold standard. Everybody was like, have they lost their minds? But
It,
we managed to make it work because we honored commitments.
it was supposed to be temporary.
Well, yeah,
You know
but
what I mean?
we honored commitments we made with the dollar, so we managed to make it work. People still, the world over, still believed in us.
Well,
Now,
yeah,
well,
now
that, and then we told them we wouldn't give them their gold back either. So,
but now we have BRIC currency, BRIC,
hmm
Brazil, Russian, India, and China, and now adding South Africa.
South Africa,
And
West Africa's
then
lining up to get in on
and then
that.
and then
Argentina's going to line up in on
yeah,
that.
and then I
Um,
believe a Middle East, one of few Middle Eastern countries too.
I want to say UAE
Yeah.
is going to
So
line up on that because it allows, as long as they have it backed by something tangible and
I think
not a promise.
they're
It,
back. I think they are planning to. I mean, not planning. They already say they are gonna back by goal break.
oh yeah, they're
Yeah.
gonna. It's gonna force the U.S. It's
To
gonna
do
force
something.
all our policymakers to. It's gonna force them to push regulation back on the monetary system. All businesses. It's not gonna be right away, but over time, it's just gonna force it. They're not gonna have any choice because the inflation is gonna go sky high. You know, and it's sad because it's going to be done at the expense of the average American because nothing lasts forever.
I
And
think the most affect citizen is the boomers because they are retiring, and their savings or
they're going to
retirement
be the most heavily affected
or
because
or pensions. Yeah.
all of their money is tied up in the system.
Or social security.
Yep, Social Security,
I really don't.
401ks,
Yes, I
other
don't
loans,
really.
Roth IRAs, traditional Roths.
Yeah, I don't
All
really
their money is
think.
tied up in the system.
I don't really think by the time you and I retire, there's still social security anymore.
Yeah. By the time but I mean, we're getting close, relatively. Well, actually, no, because they just pushed it back another 20 years.
Oh God, really?
Yes, it's been pushed to
Gee.
72,
Oh my
I believe.
God, 72.
When I was
Jesus,
20 years old,
that's
it was
55.
55.
Yeah, and then 60,
55.
and then
Now it's
60,
been pushed back.
65,
It's been pushed back
69.
to another 17, 18 years.
I don't know. I know last was 65. So
Well, 55, 75, take 3 is 17. It's been pushed back. Retirement has been pushed back in 30 years. The government has pushed retirement back 17 years for the official time you can retire, that you can take your money and utilize it, meaning they just locked your money up for another 18 years and you can't do nothing.
So I went to a business summit this past weekend, so I want to share this message with everybody.
Yeah.
Which is true. Our retirement, we should somehow find a way to work on it for ourselves and put, like you said, put money in the system, or depending on the social security or the government to hand out your retirement, because that might not happen.
Yeah, the odds of that happening nowadays was very slim because it's like with the post office. You know why the post office started going broke?
A long time ago.
Yeah, but it started a long time ago. But the reason they started going broke because your politicians were taking money out of the post office. So the post office was never meant to generate money. It was just meant to sustain itself, but it wound up generating money. And then, politicians would see all the money the post office would generate every year. And the more and more people used it, it's like free money. Well, they started taking more money than the post office was generating out of the post office. So the post office couldn't even sustain itself.
I think post office is long dead because the FedEx, UPS, now Amazon delivery. Uh,
Yeah,
you
they
know,
won't
it's
get rid
a,
of
it's
the post
a,
office because those guys can't. They do great, and a lot of people love them, but they can't. They could never, even all of them combined, still couldn't fill in for the post office right now. As it stands, the post
well,
office pushes an ungodly amount of mail. They just delivering order packages.
well,
You
here's the
know,
thing. You talk about technology and you're into AI so much. We're just gonna talk about this and then shift to the last portion. So I know the mail carrier or even truck driver is going to
hmm
replaced by AI. It's going to be replaced by robot very soon. And like I said, the post office, even the UPS worker might not have jobs soon. So
it would
and
be it would be amazing. It would be amazing if that happened inside of 10 years. I ain't gonna even lie, because you'd have to standardize mailboxes.
because have you been to, let's say, West Hollywood? You've
hmm
seen those little tiny car delivering food already.
Oh
See,
yeah, yeah, those
of
things.
course, I believe is a human control still. Somewhere they have camera see from the little car.
Yeah, they have to
But then
oversee it while it navigates.
for now, yes.
Yeah, while
But
it
one,
navigates the thing, but
yeah, but once they
we're still
implement,
so far off from that.
but listen, if they implement GPS or self-driving technology,
hmm
then there's no need for human remotes anymore.
No, and
So
then
so I think it's gonna come fast. So last
it's
thing I want,
it's
huh? Go ahead.
it's gonna happen anytime soon because there's a lot more infrastructurally wise that needs to be done to make it really work smoothly enough that everybody's like that it becomes like second nature. It becomes so second nature. It's like the second nature of you buying a house and not worrying about whether your house has water or power in the United States. You know, you can buy a house almost any. You got to go way out in the middle of nowhere for somebody to be like, "Does this place have its own water and power, or does it get water and power from?" But if
Yeah,
you're even in a small town, nobody's going to ask if the place you're buying. Nobody's going to think to ask if the place you're buying has got water and power supplied to it, because that's how
mm,
prevalent it's become. It's just like a second nature type thing. Like
right. Yes.
we got
So
it'll have to get close to that first. Like navigation alone,
mm,
navigating alone is one of the biggest issues because now this little robot has to deal with people, dogs, rats, birds, random
not,
trash rolling down the
probably not
street.
probably
Huh?
not birds
Yeah,
versus
every every moving thing you could think of, a little bug that its sensor can pick up, it has to identify. Like we take it for
yeah,
granted that we can go a block and come back with an apple juice.
you,
It's no big deal. It's like the easiest
it's
thing to slice bread.
my car right now has a sensor like what you said. So
hmm
sometimes people riding bicycle on the sidewalk or I can pick up and then it beeps and makes me
Yeah,
nervous.
you look,
Which
you're like, what? What?
which is not danger, but anyway, but they pick up the signal. It
hmm
yeah, so
Yeah, your car doesn't know the difference. Your car is like, whoa, whoa, whoa. And you're like,
yeah.
it's just a bag.
So last question for you, and then we'll close out this. Since
Yeah, yeah.
you since you're so part um participate into the ChatGPT AI world. So there's a saying that the Joe Biden's phone call to
Kamala
Kamala
Harris.
Harris is a deep fake. What do you think about that?
I've been messing with uh what's the number now? And this is almost daily.
Mm.
I'm using 6, 7, 8, 9, 10
Oh, promise.
10 semi-focus. I say semi-focused because they're supposed to be focused
Okay.
generative AIs.
Mhm.
Oh no, they we call narrow focused artificial intelligence
Right.
platforms, and some are I'm saying like the not to promote them because I'm not getting none for it, but the Chat GPT one, when you start paying for it, you can get some good results. It's a learning curve
Mm.
to using it, and you learn, and you have to keep using the same one you start. So it's good to keep it in a more narrow range of what you're doing with it.
Mhm. Yes.
You know, because not only can it reference off to the internet, you can have it reference off to the internet for
Right.
focus things. You can have it reference back against
Yes.
everything you've done so far.
Mhm. Yeah.
They're good. Some are good. Some are trash.
So the deepfake that I was asking you, and I posted a poll. You
Mm-hmm.
she asked me how many people vote, and so far, okay, the poll
Oh
is
yeah.
the poll about the call is a deepfake, meaning it's generated by AI with the Joe Biden's voice. The polls is not yes, no doubt is and then hell, big no, don't care, and WTF. So the most vote we have is hell, big no. So the question is, do you think Biden's call to Kamala is real? So that means big no for
Yeah,
everyone.
no, I would say I listened to it twice,
Uh-huh.
and I'm like, that sounded like Joe Biden back when he was vice president for Obama.
True.
That's
And
exactly who the Joe Biden speaking, the speech was so clear and direct and in line.
it has a string because
Yeah, it was strong.
when you watch the debate, he was very
Yeah, like we're talking about the Joe Biden since January. That was not him.
yeah. And then the video is showing someone or someone go to a website that you can verify to see if it's AI generated
Oh,
or not.
I didn't watch that far, but
Yeah. So whoever that video created was, and then it was showing 98% is AI generated.
yeah, because I got one.
So
I got one here. It's that one of the ones I did the video that you could, the video I showed you,
uh-huh.
the AI I used to make that tells you right after it makes a video, you can translate this video into 120 different languages,
Uh-huh.
or I can go back and supply my voice for the AI to generate and say the words that were said in the video so that I'm the one narrating the video.
Yeah, there's a lot of things, even images,
Yeah,
along with the voice.
yeah.
Just look like you, and then you can make it. You can I saw you can make into a movie. Just put a like when you're just pretend you're writing the scene on a script.
Hmm.
Uh,
That was how I had to put those videos together,
like
put it
like ex-
together like a script.
external downtown LA.
Hmm.
Thomas is walking on a sunny day down the Fifth Avenue.
Hmm. And it'll do it. And the
Yeah, it
funny
will.
thing is, I'm seeing I am seeing AI pictures all over the internet nowadays.
Yeah.
Usually it's I hate to say this because a lot of people don't realize it, but the first industry that really latches on to a transformative technology. This is how you know a technology is going to be transformative. Is and I hesitate to say it only because a lot of people are going to take it out of context. But the porn industry. If the porn industry latches onto a technology, chances are extremely high that that technology is going to turn around and become a transformative technology in society on a
Well,
social level.
for sure it will, because I believe people are already dating AI, or they make the
Right there.
video.
Right there.
People are making the videos too. I saw
Right there. It's
that.
I got some social media that I don't use to do anything. I have them for future projects or plans.
Mhm,
I don't use
mhm,
them to do anything. And I swear every month in the last 6 months, every
mhm.
month those if I have them, if I'm using in it and I look at one thing or one person, boom, the algorithm starts because we know all these social companies, their only goal is to keep you engaged. That's it. They're not trying to do anything. That's why I don't mess around with dating sites or social clubs or anything. The only goal is to keep you engaged. If I do a social club, it's one that I can. They're online, but they're local to Los Angeles, and I can go hang out. Because anything else, it's just there to keep you engaged. That's why you never. That's another story. We can do a whole show about that
Okay, sure.
another
Yes.
time.
All
But the
right.
thing is, it's you just start getting people hitting your page,
Um,
hitting your page, hitting your page.
yeah.
I have people, total strangers, that are all women between the age of 22, 21 by appearance, and 40, just liking comments I make. On one hand, it's like, oh, well, my comment meter is going up, but that's about it. They're not liking anything. They're not liking content I put out. They're
Mhm.
liking comments I make on certain other people's pages, which is really largely just all other females' pages.
Okay.
Sometimes it's from a joke or food. Some real big food
Yeah.
is one of my weaknesses. I love a
Yeah.
good meal.
Of
But
course, everybody does.
if
This
I
is what
like
I.
some, yeah, if I like a recipe,
Yeah. This is what I
inside
always.
six
This
inside
is
60 days, I'm gonna start getting so and so liked your comment.
this is what I always say. Foodie brings people together,
Oh, it does. It
and
does. That's why they
polit
hit. That's why they hit you up on it.
foodies bring people together. Politic separates people. So,
Oh, yeah,
so
yeah.
I.
Politics. Whew.
So thank you for joining me, and thank you everyone for watching. And I know we got a little bit longer today, but it's a good show. So please come back next week for our weekly live. Have a good night.
Good night, everybody.